Right, good evening, everybody, and apologies for the slight delay. We'll just give it another minute to see if some more people are joining. Right, let's make a start, and good evening again, everybody, and thanks for joining us at this meeting during the ballot period. Tonight's topic is the cost of living crisis, and we find ourselves in just now, which is accelerated by rising council tax, water, electricity, to name a few. Quick round of introductions. My name is Susanne Gens. I am the chair of the local government committee, and with me I've got Brenda Aitchison, one of our vice chairs, David O'Connor, joint lead of local government, and Stephen Lowe from the bargaining and campaigns team. We had some slight issues with the Q&A function. Hopefully we'll get it sorted. If not, we'll try our best during the session. Stephen, can I ask you to give us and explain what you and the work you and your team have done around the cost of living and the pay deals in the past? Thanks.
Yeah, certainly. We were asked to put together just a look at where prices have been and how the pay offer matches up to that. And in relation to that, I have prepared a short presentation because I really know that what people want after a day at work is a slideshow with lots of numbers and graphs. For those of you that are not really very keen on numbers and graphs, you don't need to take detailed notes on this. The vast bulk of this stuff is already on the Unison website, and the rest of it is in the process of going there. And the gist of it won't surprise you, is that prices have far and away exceeded what wages have been for workers in local government. But and I too am not the most brilliant technical person, but I will attempt to share my screen now and just show you a couple of things. Not that thing, or that thing. There we go. Right. You have the pay offer, which is the staggeringly generous 3%, which, if you noticed inflation, the inflation figures that come out on the 15th of the month, inflation is 3.4% for the last year. Now, that's, without getting too technical, that's CPI, a measure called CPIH, Consumer Price Index. Generally speaking, unions prefer to go for RPI. We think it's a more accurate version, and that's above causeless 3% as well. So there you go. As you can see, I am a trained graphic artist, as well as somebody that looks at inflation figures. But what COSLA are offering you is not going to match what is happening to the prices, to what you're paying for the things you need to buy. Right. There's quite a lot there. What this is a look at what we know, or what the Treasury are forecasting is going to happen to prices over the next year. And you can see that the pay offer does not match this. It doesn't match what's happened in the last year, or it doesn't match what is already predicted or what is already known or seriously predicted or announced for this year, whether it's rail fares going up, whether it's Treasury estimates of food prices, whether it's you know, the rents that we've had in the year over the last year and so on, you can just see prices are going up, have been going up, and are likely to keep going up ahead of that 3%. And of course, this year's inadequate pay offer doesn't happen in a vacuum. Local government staff have been getting pay that doesn't match what's happening out in the real world for a long time. There's just 4 examples over the last 15 years, right? House prices up, what, 68%. Electricity's up 144%, and gas at 86%. Now, it goes without saying, pay has not kept that. And let's look at what's actually happened to wages. We've done some examples. This one, social care worker Edinburgh, 20-year service, actual pay currently is 27,707. If pay had kept up with RPI, that same worker would be on 33,000 now. Perth and Kinross Library assistant, currently 25,795. But if paid matched inflation, they'd been over 30 grand. And you can, you know, I could go on and on and on with these examples, but you get the gist of this. Pay has stagnated, for want of a better term. Everything else in life has not. Inflation might be a mere 3.4% at the moment, but you'll remember in 22 and 23, it was in double digits. Now, I don't have your pay settlement for those years in front of me right now. That was not in double digits. The value of pay in local government has been going down, and going down seriously for the vast bulk of the workforce for really quite some time, and it just can't be allowed to continue. That's why it's really important to get a vote out. And the numbers that you're seeing this evening, they're getting transferred into communicable information by people with far better graphic ability than I have. But it's most of it's on the website already, and it'll be going out there, and it is really, really powerful stuff if you're trying to get a vote out. And any questions if you want. And I will stop sharing my screen if I know how to do it.
There we go. Well, your capability with technology is better than mine, Stephen. Trust me. Thanks very much for that. David, have you managed to get the question and answers going, or shall we just, do you want to give a bit of more feedback about where we're at with the ballot?
Yeah, in terms of question and answers, they are open if people want to pose any questions. And in terms of the ballot, the ballot opened on the 1st of May, and ballot papers have been getting sent out in batches since then. Most people should have had their ballot by today or tomorrow at the latest. So that kind of process is ongoing, and again, it will come as no surprise in that we're encouraging people to vote in the ballot and to vote for yes for industrial action. Only then will we be able to put pressure on the employer side to actually change that offer. I think so far, because we announced the ballot, there has been some productive conversations with the employer. However, no revised offers being put on the table, but they are speaking to us now with a bit more kind of gusto, and so that's quite positive. What would really put the pressure on them just now would be for people to start returning their ballots, and for us to get a positive result in the kind of the pay ballot itself. I think the kind of we have been challenging on the fact that If they have a real desire to up the offer, they can do it. Scottish Government have just shown the way by actually breaking their own kind of pay protocol by offering health 4.25 and 3.75 and a 2-year deal, way beyond what's been offered to us and way beyond the government's own protocol. So if there's a will, there's a way. We have said to the employer side that we're willing to go to Scottish Government and have those difficult discussions. So far, they've not taken us up in that offer. And essentially, that's where we are just now.
Thanks, David. Yes, we can't stress it enough how important it is to get those ballot papers returned as soon as possible. It will help Brenda and me greatly because we are the ones actually having to speak to COSLA and or the Scottish Government. Anything you want to add, Brenda?
Well, I'm just home from work, and as Suzanne said, on the call tonight, we've got David and Stephen, who are both full-time officers with Unison. Suzanne and I are local government workers, and tonight when I came home, I got my ballot paper. So this is what it looks like in real life. Can't miss it. Big purple envelope, different from your white, your brown envelopes that we normally get. And I think the point that David makes really important. We've announced that we're doing an all-member ballot in local government. We haven't done that for quite some time. We've done what we call a disaggregate ballot previously in the past number of years. So this is something that we haven't done for a while. And it's something that we feel that's important because it gives all our members in local government a chance to express their opinion. We're asking you to return your ballot paper and say yes to both questions. But the most important thing is return your ballot paper. Every month you pay your union dues, and this is part of the process, part of democracy. It gives you that opportunity to have your say. But as Suzanne mentioned, it strengthens your negotiator's position when they're going into bargain with the employer if they know that the members are fully behind us. We did a consultative ballot a few months ago, and that's relatively easy because you just get an email sent, click on it, and off it goes, and that's it. Unfortunately, with the way things are, we can't do that when we do a industrial action ballot. It has to be a postal ballot, which means it's got to come through snail mail, land on your doorstep. You've got to tick the boxes, cross the boxes actually, and then get it into your post box. That's just the way that we have to work at the moment. And the thresholds for taking industrial action haven't changed as yet. So we still need 50% of our members to participate. So that's why it's crucially important to return your ballot papers. And there's a kind of common thing within trade unions that they say that the best form of industrial action is industrial action you don't have to take. And that leads on to, or follows on rather from what David was saying. You know, Unison will always continue to negotiate as much as we can. And there hadn't been much engagement, but we have had a bit more traction now, and we will continue to negotiate to see if we can get an improved offer for our members. Suzanne and I are both local government workers, so it affects our pay, same as everybody else's, and we do Unison duties with a bit of facility time. So it's really important that we get a clear mandate from our members. It's your opportunity to have your say. If you think of the stuff that Stephen's gone through tonight, in terms of where we're at, you know, what you were earning 5 years ago, what you're earning now, how far your money goes. And there's quite often a misconception that because inflation's not at, 8 or 9%, that, things are getting a bit cheaper. Well, I think you only need to go to your local supermarket when you're doing your shop. I know my shopping's not any cheaper. You can see the difference in prices, and that's just one item. That's just your food. You think of all your other costs, whether it's rent or mortgage or gas, electricity, your council tax, and so on and so forth. So it's really, really important, and it gives you the opportunity to have your say. We've been doing these town hall meetings. We did our first one last week. We did do them when we had the consultative ballot, and the idea from the local government committee, of which Suzanne is chair, is to engage your members. And we thought that if we had these town hall meetings, so we're going to do 6. This is the 2nd of 6, and every week there's going to be a different speaker. So yes, our focus is on the ballot. Our focus is on pay, and tonight obviously you had the presentation from Stephen, but we've got other topics coming up over the next few weeks. We've got health and safety with a particular focus around overwork and the impact that has in people's physical and mental well-being. I think if you work in local government, we're all doing more for less. So that's a huge area of concern for Unison, and it is a health and safety issue. We've also got Lillian Macer, who is Unison Scotland's Scottish Secretary. We've also got a topic on job evaluation, which quite a lot of you will be aware. You'll have gone through that process in your own councils, although it's not a one scheme fits all. Every council has a slightly different scheme. So we've got some speakers on that topic. And we've also got a topic on schools, particularly around violence and aggression within schools. You'll have seen a lot of stuff of that not only on our own website and through the Unison's Education's Issues group, but also on the media. So yes, the focus is on pay, but we're also looking at it in the wider context in terms of the services we deliver and how much harder it is to deliver those services, because we're seeing increasing demand, but less numbers of staff that are actually employed in the workforce to be able to carry those out. So all I can say is look out for your purple envelope. It takes a few seconds and pop it in the post box. There's links on the website if you're not sure where your local post office box is on the Unison Scotland website, and you can click on the link and it will tell you where your closest one is. So return your ballot paper, and hopefully we'll get an improved offer, and that's what everybody's wanting. Thanks, Suzanne.
Yep, thanks, Brenda. Couldn't agree more. And it is so important that we get a good turnout, because it doesn't just help us for this negotiation, but it will strengthen us for the years to come as well. So it was really important that we get that ballot over the line. I see we still don't have any questions. I think we'll just have to be without them. Anybody else? David, do you want to say anything else, or shall we just thank everybody?
Really not a lot more to kind of add. I think Brenda's kind of covered the importance of returning the ballot paper. If people don't return the ballot paper, effectively what they're doing is accepting that 3% offer. We would encourage people not to accept it and to vote for industrial action and give us the power to negotiate. Our aim is not to take industrial action, but we have to have that threat to actually get the employers to move. Colleagues south of the border are getting offered more than we are being offered. So kind of local government workers in England are being offered above 3%. NHS colleagues are being offered 4.25% this year. Colleagues in Scottish Water, again, are being offered way beyond our 3%. So I think it's for people to actually stand up and shout quite clearly that this is not acceptable and we will not tolerate such a poor offer.
Yep, thanks, David. So thanks everybody for joining tonight. We won't keep you any longer, and hopefully see you all next week. Thank you.